Okay, good morning, everyone. I would like to thank you for the invitation to talk at this European Maritime Day. I have to apologize up front, but I have to catch an airplane and I need to leave right after my speech. So please accept my apologies, and also to my fellow co-presenters here for this session. Okay, as a marine biologist working at the University of Cyprus, we're also a partner at the BlueMed project, as you heard earlier on today. Our work was focusing on recording the marine biodiversity at the pilot sites of the BlueMed project. And we believe that recording the marine biodiversity at any of the underwater cultural heritage sites and diving parks is especially important because these areas are typically coastal, relatively shallow, so that they are accessible to divers. And they can host a wide variety of marine organisms. And they're very important for the ecological services that they provide. So, and this is what we've actually seen in the pilot sites of the project. So quite a wide range of biodiversity and also relatively high abundances, ranging from macrophytes to invertebrates and several fishes. Of course, as some of you are also divers, you know that this high biodiversity and abundance of marine species is one of the factors that makes these areas very attractive to tourists, both snorkelers and divers. However, if certain measures are not followed of precaution, this increased attractiveness and visibility of the UCH sites can inadvertently, of course, increase the pressure on these marine ecosystems and sometimes lead to some negative impacts on the environment, also the archaeological findings there, and possibly cause some damage. So the solution is that we are proposing is we want the managers of these UCH sites and diving parks to record the marine biodiversity and abundance before actually opening and running these sites. And the reason for doing these biodiversity records is, one, to create a baseline of information, to know what is currently present in the zero time at the ecosystem. And this baseline then is going to provide the foundation for a continuous monitoring along an annual time frame or a biannual time frame to help the managers record and observe any possible changes or deviations from these baseline. So what we've actually done in the pilot sites of the BlueMed project, and it's one methodology that we're proposing for recording it, is actually using photography and videography to help record the biodiversity in these sites. And within the project, as mentioned earlier, we had 3 dive sites in the western Parasytikos near Maliapolis. There was a dive site in Alonissos in Greece, 2 sites near Tsafted in Croatia, and also 2 sites in Italy, in Baio and Capo Rizzuto. So the foundation for this photographing evidence of the marine biodiversity is based on this, what's called a photo quadrant. It's basically PVC tubes that can be connected together, providing a stable frame on top of which a camera can be placed. And knowing the specific dimensions of this frame can help estimate the sizes of the organisms that you're photographing. And then we propose that a meter tape is laid on the seafloor, and a photograph can be taken every 1 meter along this transect. And then if the site is big enough, you can create parallel transects to the first one at 5-meter intervals or so on. So for instance, in an area 30 meters by 25 meters, which was the Dulia site in Softad, we've run 7 different transects 5 meters apart. Whereas in Gigithon, so the smaller diving site, we've done 3 transects. Okay. So then you end up with a bunch of photographs, which you can take easily while diving and following your transect, and then you come back to your office, to your lab, and you actually need to analyze them. We recommend that you use a software which is specializing in advanced image processing, especially of photographic samples, and it's actually been created by a Greek team dedicating it to ecological applications. And this software is freely available, and it's called photopod. And what the system does, it actually uses a series of different methods to extract not only the species identity, but also the area that they cover. Can also be used to estimate the % coverage over your entire sampling area. Of course, you get a presence and absence information. Okay. And it creates a library that you can refer to for future use. So these are some of the images that are coming from the field. And then these images, you can see some of them are you can distinguish that the meter tape right next to them. These are then incorporated into the photopod to identify the species, estimate sizes, % coverage, and so on. So what you can get out of the photopod is, of course, once you start identifying, you can group your organism into different categories. You can identify them down to the species level, some of them, others up to the genus. Okay. And of course, you can start getting some more informative data, such as looking at the abundances and the range of different organisms within the specific site that you're looking at. Okay. And what it's also helping you, we actually, by identifying the different species, and we had this conversation with the Blumet team yesterday and earlier on today, is by looking at the species, and the top right picture is actually a photograph taken from the field of the Godbomenia sinuosa, whereas the bottom one, you can distinguish some Zanardinia dibus within the quadrant there. So by identifying these, both are algae, and both are used by the Marine Strategy Framework Directive as indicators to show the quality of the water. So in seasons to come or in years to come, the managers of the UCH sites can actually track whether you still have that algae present in your area or not, and whether its abundance has increased and the coverage has increased or decreased. Okay. So, of course, the other thing that we recommend that managers of the underwater cultural heritage sites do, of course, recording marine biodiversity is not enough by itself. So we want them, if not already in effect, to actually promote responsible snorkeling and diving practices in the area. And this is in order to protect and preserve the integrity of the ecosystem, and of course all the cultural heritage findings that are there. And by protecting it, you're creating a healthy ecosystem which can help attract even more visitors to the area. And so some practices that are already in some of the pilot sites used by the Blumet project are, of course, in effect, are dealing with access of boats to the diving sites, using moorings, and for proper approach of the boats to these sites. And also for divers and snorkelers, establishing and making clear a no-contact policy. This also includes feeding the fishes, especially no contact with watching proper buoyancy, practices for diving to watch your fins, diminish the turbulence caused in sandy bottoms that can cover up corals and artifacts and so on. And within the frame of this project, training courses for including these practices and many others have also been created, and they will be provided to the managers of current and future UCH sites so that they can be used in their area. So thank you very much for your attention, and I guess if you have any questions, I'll take them now.
I think we have time for questions at the end of the session, so. Okay, sorry, I didn't. Okay.
If not, then you can email me. Yeah.
I would like to ask, could you give us different species that we could monitor in the long term as indicators of the changement to show?
Yeah, we can provide that list.
Right, there is a bigger list, I imagine.
Yes.
And also, what we must have, what would be the best to have in the future? I mean, a liberty, augmentation of this type of species. What would be the one that we would like to have?
Yeah. Of course, the variety of the species varies from site to site, and some are endemic, and of course now we also have the alien species coming in from other areas. So, but we can provide on a per site list of, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Are there any other questions? No. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much. So next is Mr. Fabio Bruno, representing the University of Calabria and a partner of BlueMed project. He is going to talk about the state-of-the-art innovative digital technology as a means of raising public awareness.